What's going on, fresh takers? I am doing another tier list. This one I'm really excited for because this is ranking the top Star Wars movies to the worst Star Wars movies. Let's get into it. All right. So we have got Star Wars Episode 2 of Attack of the Clones. Oh, I gotta be really careful. You know what? I am going to put this. I'm gonna put it in the B. People crap on this movie. People crap on this movie, but I enjoyed episode 2. Um, you know, I think a lot of people that crap on the movie were the people that saw the first trilogy, and this is like, this is not my Star Wars, and you'll be fine. Empire Strikes Back. That is A for me. It's a good movie, great movie, but it is not an S tier. Empire Strikes Back. That is one I don't watch that much out of all these Star Wars, to be honest with you. I just don't, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I don't know why, but I don't know why the settings. I don't really like the places a lot of the movie takes place in, but I don't know. I'm weird like that sometimes, y'all. Y'all gotta forgive me. Okay, Star Wars Force Awakens. Okay, just because I put it in C doesn't mean it's terrible, but I just feel like it's kind of a copycat to A New Hope, and everybody said that. So it's not terrible. It gave us a new Star Wars, but it could have been better if they didn't kill Han Solo. Just saying. Could have been better if they would have waited for that moment. But that's just me. All right. The Last Jedi. The only thing that saves this movie for me is the lightsaber fights. Rey and Kylo against the Red Troopers was chef's kiss. And then Kylo versus Luke, chef's kiss. For me, I think everybody has their opinions, but that is the only thing that saves us from being trash. I'm sorry, it does. I do like that movie. I do like the aesthetically, and red being my favorite color. There's a lot of red in here. Aesthetically, I love this movie. The places and all that it takes place in, great. Story wise, we could have went without it. All right, A New Hope. That is top tier. If A New Hope is not in your top, if you're a Star Wars fan, we have to have a talk. There's something wrong if you don't think that is not a top tier. A New Hope was what I was brought up on. My dad got me and my brother into Star Wars, and it was A New Hope. That was the first thing I saw, and it was kind of crazy because I saw episode 1 immediately after, so there really was no, even though there was a long waiting period for people like my dad between the first trilogy and the prequels, it wasn't a long wait for me. So that was pretty cool to see. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then my dad's like, they're coming out with, and back then I didn't really understand all of it, but I was like, hey, this is called Star Wars. We're going to go with it. And we just kind of go in that direction. So A New Hope was my introduction, I think, like everybody. And if you were brought up right, let's say it that way. If you're brought up right, A New Hope was your first introduction. It's S tier. There's really nothing else to say about it. I'll fight you. I'm sorry, but I'm not. Moving on. All right. Episode 1. Oh, I know there are going to be some people that will be pissed at me. I don't care. Talk to your mama about it. Listen. I just kind of said why this movie is top tier for me. So right after A New Hope, Episode 1 was my introduction, and that was, to me, that was like my Star Wars. I don't knock the first trilogy. I don't knock the last 3 they just did. You know, every generation has their kind of like their set of Star Wars movies. But best believe you better put some respect on the first trilogy's name. Like, you don't come in as a Star Wars fan and you don't respect the first trilogy. Like, well, that off rip, you'll get jumped. But this was like my Star Wars. I was into all of it. I had the Darth Maul lightsaber. I had all the toys. Then they came out with the Speed Racer, like they did like the whole Star Wars Speed Racer game where Anakin was in the speed, you know, the Podster races. You know, it was I was on everything they had. They had the Star Wars episode 1 video game on PlayStation. I played that. Like, there was so much that went on. So there's a lot of nostalgia and love of Star Wars behind episode 1 for me. A lot of people try to crap on it, but to me, honestly, I love episode 1, and you can't argue me down off of that one. My only knock with the first one is I understand why they did it now, but I wish that they could have kept Darth Maul alive or at least brought him back by now. But that's just me. But I know I'm going to get some comments where people are not happy that I put this up, this episode 1 in the S tier, but it's all right. You'll live. All right. Return of the Jedi. I will quickly jump to Return of the Jedi. I will watch this movie. I will watch this one with no hesitation. I love this movie. It's weird how you kind of have memories attached to this, but one of my favorite things I used to love was my dad. For some reason, I don't know why, but around the fall when it started to get cold, my dad makes this amazing chili. It's this famous chili. He would make chili and he would put on Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I don't know why. He had this going on for like 3-4 months one year. And so every time he would cook it, he'd put it on. And now that's, it's a memory for me now where it's like, I just, I'll eat some chili and watch Star Wars Return of the Jedi and just be in bliss. I love this movie because it really was a good, kind of end to the original trilogy. You somewhat feel like you got closure to the story, even though it kept going on. You did feel like you got closure, and it, as a Star Wars fan, this movie means a lot to me, because it's one of the best, to me, it's one of the best finishes to a 3-part story or 3-part movie series for me. It definitely ranks up there. So Return of the Jedi definitely gets an S tier. Star Wars Rogue One gets an A. To fit this movie to fit this movie right into A New Hope, amazing. The concept is that is just brilliant. How do we come up with a new story that is its own but still ties into the story of Star Wars without involving all of the normal characters? And they did an amazing job. It's serious execution on that. Now, here's the thing. I don't often go out of my way to watch Rogue One, but it was really, really good. It was really, really good. It's a very, very solid movie. Episode 3. Ooh. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. It goes S tier. Here's why it goes S tier. Like I said, the prequels are like my Star Wars. That was where I felt the most excited as a Star Wars fan, because you got to think I am also a gamer. And then back then, Scholastic book fairs. Shout out to my 90s kids. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Scholastic book fairs. I would beg my mom if I couldn't get a cheat code book, if I couldn't get a how to draw, how to draw certain cartoon characters or anime characters, whatever. If I couldn't get that, I was getting they used to sell the Star Wars episode books. So episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, I would go buy those. So it wasn't just the video games, it wasn't just the movie, it wasn't just the toys, it was everything. So there's a lot of attachment I have to the prequels. Now the second one, I know I have it as a B, but it's a solid B. It's not a trash B. It's a solid B. But the other two, the first and third, man, that is S tier for me. Those mean a lot, and that is still the greatest lightsaber duel we will ever have. No one's topping that. I will put my money on that. It is July 30th, 2024 as I record that. There will never be another lightsaber fight like that. And Obi-Wan Kenobi, that was my introduction to young Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is my favorite Star Wars character. And those two movies to me is where I feel like he shined the most, was episode 1, episode 3. And he did an amazing job in the duel. And Hayden Christensen, man, he got crapped on a lot back then for what he did as Anakin, but now people love him because they've had time with the movie and they really have gotten to see, like, okay, he put a lot of passion, he put a lot of work behind his craft of being a Jedi in this movie, and he did an amazing job, and I've always loved his work. So gets an S tier for me. And people are going to disagree with this list, but I do not care. Pull up, fight me if you want to. I don't care. Moving on. All right, so this one should not be hard at all.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Solo was trash. I did not even finish it. Did I finish it? I finished it, but I stopped, and then I had to come back to it. It was not good for me. I did not enjoy Solo. It did not feel like Han Solo. Yes, it's a young version of Han Solo, but I feel like there is a huge disconnect between the two Solos. Excuse me. There's a huge disconnect, and it was not good. I did not like it. I'm sorry. I wanted to like it because I love Han Solo. You know, A New Hope, you saw Han Solo, you're like, who is this dude? Him and Chewie, gotta love him. And this was not a good movie, and I'm sorry. Childish Gambino as Lando Calrissian, I will see him in I would love to see him in something else, but the rest of it, trash, garbage, throw it away. Okay, this last one, where do I put you? You know what? This gets, I'm gonna give it a C. I'm gonna give it a C, y'all. I don't know. They tried with these last three. Like, I don't even, what do you call them, guys? Like, I know that, like, we have the OG trilogy, we have the prequels. I don't know. Is it such as a postquels? I don't know. They tried, but it just, I don't know, because I feel like a lot of it they just kind of recycled, you know, just to appease the OG fans. They recycled a lot of the first trilogy, and it was like, are y'all gonna try to be a little bit more original? And what I got a lot of complaints from of other Star Wars fans was, you have created this huge galaxy. You know, the movies always start from a galaxy far, far away, or in a galaxy far, far away. So Star Wars has this, you know, huge galaxy where they can tell all these stories, and somehow everything leads back to the Skywalkers. And I think that's where a lot of people had an issue. But then I'm like, also, Star Wars fans, y'all can be some of the worst. The Star Wars fans, I know they're pretty good, but them internet Star Wars fans are terrible. So, they were crapping on it before they even came out and told you what it was going to be like. Before there was even a trailer, they hated it. For Christ's sake, we had a lot of them that were complaining that there was a black stormtrooper. And I'm like, okay, yes, the stormtroopers were all clones, but eventually you run out of clones. Like, how long has the Empire been going from episode 3 up until now? Like, that's a lot of troops. And come on now. So, it's like eventually they run out. There can be black people in this movie. So, Star Wars fans can be different, but it was like, I don't know what they could have done to make it better, but it's just, they were okay. Here's what I will say. I do like the characters. Like, I love Kylo Ren. I love Rey, love Finn, love Poe. So I do like that we got new Star Wars characters to connect with. Just the movies didn't hit. So that's why ironically, all 3 of them are, on the C list. So, hey, I love Star Wars, but they've got a mixture here. They definitely got a mixture with me. So you got a little bit of everything. You got S tier, A tier, B, C, and then you got trash. I didn't include the TV shows, but I guarantee you Mandalorian would be in that S tier. And I think it would be an S tier for everybody. That show is fire. So that is my Star Wars list, guys. I absolutely love Star Wars. This is my favorite movie franchise of all time. I'm in love with it. That is one of the greatest things my father ever did for me, was introduce me to Star Wars. My daughter is intelligent and great and loves movies and can pay attention and follow. I do want to wait just a little bit longer to really get her into it, but I really hope that's like, I can pass that love on to her, that she'll love Star Wars. We'll see. But this is my list, guys. I appreciate you watching. As always, please please subscribe, comment. My Star Wars fans out there, tell me what y'all think of this list. Tell me if there's any changes you'd make. I'd really would love your feedback. If there's some people that don't agree with my S tier, let's talk about it, because I'm here for it. I want to debate. I want to talk about it. I do. So pull up, comment, let me know how y'all feel. Like I said, there's going to be more of these coming, so just make sure you subscribe. Make sure you don't miss out on anything else I put out. But I appreciate you guys. Love you guys as always. Peace.